Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to another episode of the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Yes, I am Candace Jackson, and I am starting you off this morning. Hope you all are doing well. It is Friday, people, and we are in the Christmas season. The festiveness is getting into us. You know, it's a lot of exciting times happening around. But before we get into a lot of the things that's happening within our space, let's get into our news for Friday, 10th December 2022. The PDP political leader Watson Duke described the decision by Chief Secretary Fali Augustine and the rest of the Executive Council to leave the party as the highest form of betrayal. He said that the PDP being elected to lead the THA was supposed to be a team effort. However, the resignation signaled that Augustine and company were not committed to the vision. Meanwhile, Duke claimed that Augustine was having problems handling power and was not taking advice from the right people. Duke said he was disappointed that the executive failed to deliver on campaign promises. Meanwhile, the Trinidad and Tobago Netball Association recently provided details on the firing of Tobagonian coach Kemba Duncan and manager Asher Legal. According to a press release, they outlined a lack of adherence to protocols and policies of the association which led to the decision. They said there were regular meetings where the shortcomings were pointed out, but no effort was made to rectify them. In the case of the manager, failure to ensure the team was present for the opening ceremony of the Netball World Cup qualifiers was a major faux pas. Additionally, failure to report on the progress of injured players was another infraction. The TTNA indicated they were forced to make the unfortunate decision, but appreciated the work of both Kemba and the girl. And now nationally, Michael Kerban, son of Faisal Kerban, who died in the tragic accident at Berth 6 of the Paria Fuel Trading Company on February 25, 2022, stated that he was prevented from rescuing his father on that day. He appeared on the witness stand for the Commission of Inquiry into the incident. Kerban stated that when the divers went missing, he insisted there was enough time for his father and his 3 colleagues to be saved from the time they were sucked into the pipeline. One survivor, Christopher Boudram, indicated that from his knowledge, Faisal Kerban was right behind him in the pipe. However, when he attempted to rescue his father, Kerban claimed he was stopped. And that was in news in 90 seconds. And well, viewers, yes, Julian is here. So I am going to pass you over to him so he can take you through the rest of the show.
Thank you very much there, Candice. Morning to all our viewers, listeners, and those connecting with us online for the Tobago Updates Morning Show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. Yes, Novia isn't in this morning, and we want to wish her the very best out there, wherever she is today, and we look forward to her being back with us on Monday morning. Viewers, this morning, as Candice indicated, a number of things happening, but above all, it is Friday indeed, and we are thankful. As Ria would say, it's that day that leads us into the weekend activities, which we most certainly look forward to. All right, at this point, viewers, we head on into our birthday celebrations for this Friday. And we get started on screen with Larry Brathwaite, and some know him as Officer Larry, making great strides and efforts out there working with our young people through the Mount St. George Police Youth Club and his respective efforts. And we want to say morning and birthday shout outs going out to Larry Brathwaite. Kay Allen, yes, those vocals, that voice, our very own Kay Allen. And this morning, we want to take the opportunity to highlight and to send a birthday shout out. Happy birthday to you, Kay Allen. My very good friend out there, Renee Harriet Edwards, wishing you a happy birthday and God's continued blessings. Happy birthday, Renee. All right, this gentleman, also known as Officer, Officer Lyndon Lashley. We want to take this opportunity to wish you a happy birthday, Lyndon Lashley, and God's continued blessings. And this was one of those birthdays, if my information is accurate, that we missed yesterday. For any of us throughout the school system at that point, you knew Mr. Thomas Noel Sosa. All right, so we're sending birthday shout outs to Mr. Sosa and wishing you God's continued blessings, sir. And we have an anniversary today. Today is the 40th anniversary celebration. And this is coming greetings from the 3 loving children, 6 grandchildren, wishing them all God's blessings upon their lives. So we're sending anniversary greetings and we want to wish you God's continued blessings. And we also have another birthday, some more birthdays in the mix. Darylyn Smart. Darylyn Smart, it's your day. And we want to wish you a happy birthday, Darylyn. On the screen with us is Ellis Clark. And we see birthday shout outs going out to you, Ellis Clark. We trust that you have an enjoyable celebration. And that's coming from the entire family, wishing you a happy birthday. All right, so a number of birthdays here are in the lineup this morning, and we want to thank each and every one of you, those viewers joining us online. So let me take a quick check our online connection here. Those viewers this morning, I see in the mix with us Jillian Henry, Donil Vincent, and Donil is also sending out happy birthday to my mom, Elizabeth Johnson Cooper. So this morning we're sending birthday shout outs to Elizabeth Johnson Cooper, and that's coming from Donil Vincent, wishing you a happy birthday and the entire family. We want to also shout out in the mix this morning Denise Wright, Julia Brown, Leslie Ann Patterson, Selma Lashley in the mix as well, Maximilian Anderson, Brenda Campbell, Wayne Clark, Listra Belfont, Kuki Melville, Cindy Taylor, Lisa James, Christelle Tom Washington, Miss Charles, Mrs. Charles out there, and the list goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to thank each and every one of you for that continued love and support. Those of you connecting with us right here in the Tobago space, those of you connecting in Trinidad, and those of you connecting with us throughout the region and the world at large. We thank you so much for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. As I always say, as a gentle reminder, we are thankful because we are indeed number one because of each and every one of you choosing us day after day. So thank you so much for that continued love and support. And at this point, let me give you an idea of what's upcoming in our rundown for this morning. This morning we'll be starting off the conversation with Jason Arthur, and we'll be getting a perspective from Jason when it comes to the THA standing orders in layman terms as a political commentator. All right, we'll also be having conversations with Petal Joseph, Managing Director and Principal of Consultant, I3 Green Consultants. So we look forward to those discussions. And this morning, we'll also be chatting with Karen Hislop, Chairman of the USC Music Department, and Wayne Lovelace, actor of the Mount St. George Drama Group this morning. And we'll be speaking USC Music Annual Year-End Production and the greatest story, Thrill of Hope. So we look forward to those discussions happening this morning, and certainly bringing you all the information and details. And as Tobago updates, and as Tobago, in fact, we continue to monitor the happenings in the Tobago space. We saw where the political leader would have written to the presiding officer, attempting to have seats declared vacant. The presiding officer would have responded accordingly, not necessarily being able to give in to the request. So we look on to see what the next steps will logically be in the process. We have heard voices coming forward indicating that there may definitely be an opportunity to challenge the circumstances. And then we have heard more voices, in fact, coming forward to say that the process is totally legal, what has happened within the THA space, and that there is definitely a difference in the context. But important to note, naturally, we anticipate that the next direction may very well be, as the political leader has indicated, Watson Duke is going to go to the courts if he needs to, in terms of seeking to have the courts intervene in this matter. So we look forward to see how this situation continues to progress here in the Tobago space. And as far as indications coming from the Chief Secretary and members of the Executive Council. The business of the Tobago House of Assembly continues uninterrupted in the circumstances, because there's a clear separation between party and governance within the context of the Tobago House of Assembly. So we look forward to seeing the happenings, and we'll definitely be having those discussions upcoming, getting a perspective from Jason Arthur. So we want to thank you once again, all you viewers connected with us, those joining us via TV, those of you listening in via radio, and those of you connecting with us online as you head on into work just around this time. We want to remind you that it is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Spread Christmas joy and cheer with a loan from Lambo Credit Union this year. Get 100% financing for shopping, home renovations, furniture and appliances, debt consolidation and much more. Did we mention no payments until the end of January 2023? Get the most flexible repayment periods and the best interest rates around. Call 639-5060 to book your appointment today, or visit us on Facebook or Instagram. Wishing you a happy holiday from Lambo Credit Union. And remember, we are always here for you.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing their chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap, even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell we, anything could be yours.
Anything can be yours at American stores.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Excuse me, Mr. Man. Playground rhymes. That's why I'm bringing back the playground rhymes.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. It is 7:16 a.m. and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough this morning. Viewers, I am Julian Skeet, and in this segment, we are chatting with Jason Arthur. We want to welcome Jason on set this morning. Morning to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And today, in fact, you're here in a different capacity. Normally, it might be the Bishops Alumni Association, but you're here in a different capacity this morning as we're speaking to the politics and the happenings of the day specifically. So we want to get started, and I want to get, in the first instance, your initial reactions earlier this week when the resignation came out of the respectively 13 assemblymen taking that position.
Well, I was happy like Papi, right? I thought it was the best thing for them to do. For me, it's kind of personal in the sense that I I watched everything sort of unfold, and I remember watching that day when Mr. Duke said the party is mine, and for me, I had a visceral reaction to that because I've been involved in no less than 3 projects where people, quote unquote, started something, couldn't go further with the thing, brought me into the thing, yeah? And when the thing started to go very well, turned around and claimed it for themselves. And so you're using people's efforts, and then when things get going, you say it's all yours because you started it. Anybody can start anything. But did you take it to where it became viable? And I know, because I live in Tobago, when this thing started, you would hear all these stories coming back. I mean, I'm friends with, this one and that one. I wouldn't necessarily call their names or whatever. And you're hearing the stories coming back, and you're hearing the anecdotes about, for instance, like when they were supposed to, each of them come out, so you had, let me say it this way. So you had Melanie Roberts, she came out, and then you had this one and you had that one. And there was a sort of a ruling out process. And when they were doing that, as far as I know, Farley was supposed to come out much later than he did. But part of the reason that he came out earlier was because they realized they were not getting traction. So what it means is that well, we can say now you used this person to get what it is you wanted, and now you say it's all yours. And so for me, I had a visceral reaction to that. First time it happened to me was when I was living in the US, And when I saw that, I said, yeah, that's what you should do, because that is what I had to do. Far separate from the other issues and so forth. For me, it was very personal. Get out. If we built it together and it's all yours, get out.
And I suppose that goes with the title, and he's usually very clear on that with the political leader, owner, and founder of the Progressive Democratic Patriots. And at this point, we want to fast forward to the happenings. The resignation has led to a situation now where it is once again the Tobago House of Assembly Act is receiving separate types of interpretation, and by extension, the standing orders being utilized. The Progressive Democratic Patriots political leader, Watson Duke, has put forward and sent a letter to the presiding officer making a request indicating that based on the relevant sections of the standing order and the references being tied to, making that connection in the context of the parliament in Trinidad. Tell us a little bit from your understanding, the distinctions rather between what we look at very broadly as the THA Act, our constitution, and more importantly, interpretations regarding the standing orders.
Right, so I think part of the issue here is that there isn't a clear distinction between one set of documents versus the other set of documents. So the first set of documents we're talking about are the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago and the THA Act. Now, the THA Act itself is a part of the Constitution. Yeah?
Correct.
So those are the 2 documents we're talking about on one side. On the other side, we're talking about the standing orders of the Tobago House of Assembly and the standing orders of the House of Representatives in Trinidad. Yeah? Okay. The THA Act, I'm just going to use the Act for now. The THA Act defines what things are. For instance, what's a minority leader? What's a chief secretary? Blah, blah, blah. To include, how does an assemblyman demit office? Right? That's the Act. The standing orders are or is the document that says, how do we function within the assembly? When we meet, who talks first? Who talks second? If a question is asked, how is the question supposed to be phrased? Blah, 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 blah. Right? Those are the standing orders. So that's the Act, the standing orders. Similarly, in Trinidad, you have the Constitution that defines who can be a representative, blah, 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 same kind of thing. And then you have standing orders. They have their own standing orders as well. Okay? Now, what's going on is that there is a section within the House of Assembly's standing orders, section 92, that says, if we meet up something in our day-to-day operations that we have never seen, we will look to refer to the practice of the standing orders of the House of Representatives, not the Constitution. It is in the Constitution where they define how somebody gets removed from the House of Representatives. But we are not looking, our standing orders are not looking to the Constitution. Our standing orders are saying if we meet up something that we haven't seen, we will refer to the standing orders of the House of Representatives. And let me make another point. The standing orders of the House of Representatives, you know what it says about itself? If it sees something or if it meets something in the day-to-day operations of the House of Representatives that it hasn't seen, you know what it has said that it will do? It will look to the standing orders of the House of Commons in the UK. Now, you can't tell me that what they're actually saying is that they're going to look to the laws of the UK. We have our own laws. You understand? So anybody who is trying to pretend that they don't understand what this stuff means, they're engaging in not misinformation, disinformation. I am trying to mislead you. That is all.
So in your estimation, you're saying that the comparative is seeking a guidance, so to speak, and just to refer to this very clearly, this is section 92 of the Tobago House of Assembly standing orders, which indicate that in any matter not herein provided for, report shall be had to the usage and practice of the House of Representatives, which shall be followed as far as the same may be applicable to the Assembly and not inconsistent with these standing orders nor with the practice of this Assembly. So you are saying comparatively for you, based on your interpretation, is that the guidance is to be sought through the said standing orders of the House of Representatives of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago.
And I am saying this is not my interpretation. If you read number 2, right? Read number 2.
And number 2 goes on to say, in the case of doubt, the standing orders of the Assembly shall be interpreted in light of the relevance, usage, and practice of the House of Representatives. And then it goes on to say, no restrictions, as item 3, no restrictions which the House of Representatives has introduced by standing orders shall be deemed to the extent...
So let me interrupt you. It says, no restrictions as introduced by the standing orders of the House of Representatives. Not the TNT Constitution. The standing orders of the House of Representatives. You just read it. So I'm not interpreting it. It literally says it. If you refuse to read that part and you cherry pick, then you could end up in a scenario where people are interpreting. It literally says it right there. I'm not interpreting it. This is not my opinion. It's right there.
So in a circumstance, would you say that we are once again falling into a scenario where, as I had put it in an earlier show this week, that this was the same area that there was an attempt to use in 2021. And of course, the matter didn't get as far as it had intended in terms of a similar reference to seeking guidance through. And people made all sorts of ups and downs in relation to it seems archaic and it seems outdated, when in truth and in fact, there was an indication defined in the context of drawing lots and so on, in relation to making a determination. Do you see once again that this is a section that will not be able to stand up with what is currently being proposed or put forward as the direction and seeking the intervention of the courts to make a determination? You think that it's very likely to face the same kind of challenge and not stand up to be able to yield the results that the political leader of the PDP is hoping to achieve coming out of this?
Right. So I'm going to speak in more certain language than a lot of people. I absolutely know that that will go nowhere. It can't go anywhere. Yeah? Here's the funny thing. this section of the Constitution that they're referring to, where in the House of Representatives, if you leave your party, you have to demit office. That was put into the Constitution in 1978. Okay? Which means it wasn't there before. Yeah? And so what it means is this. If you want to do something like that, you have to make it law. Yes? Well, as it stands right now, in Tobago, on the THA Act, we have 4 conditions under which an assemblyman is removed. If you want to put in a 5th condition, then you have to make it so. You understand what I'm saying? You have to make it so. Now, one of the curiosities is this. You might want to ask yourself a question like, so when we first developed our Constitution, which is pretty much predicated on the Westminster system, yeah, and our function of our parliament, I should say, how come that law wasn't in there? Why did they have to put it in 1978? Is it that when they copied it over from the UK, they didn't have a law like that? And you know what the answer is? You know there's no law like that in the UK. There's no law prohibiting you from crossing the floor. We decided to do that. And why did we decide to do that? Because our politicians want more power than they already have. And one of the things that I aim to do, hopefully, is to do a nice little video showing why I think the Westminster system is the worst thing for Caribbean islands. The fact of the matter is, and I can't go into it here, the fact of the matter is that the Westminster system confers far more power on our politicians than they do in these very large countries where they were applied. But like I said, I can't get into it here. But the thing is, so what that means to me is you already have far more power than the system, right, that you've copied, give to other people in other jurisdictions. And then you want even more power and more control. And the question that people have to ask themselves is this. To what extent do you want the politicians to have so much power? Is it in your benefit for the politicians to have so much power? I know for me what the answer is. I can't answer for anybody else. The answer is no. I don't want them to have all that power. You have enough power. If somebody wants to leave your party because maybe they disagree with something you're doing in principle, and we voted them in, then they should be able to leave. Maybe they're leaving because you're doing something that's against us. But you're threatening them now that if they leave, you're going to take it away from them.
Let me look at, just to look at a different perspective. Do you feel, and people make the very strong indications of political parties, but do you still feel that in 2022, and most recently the elections of 2021, that as a people in Trinidad and Tobago, and more specifically in Tobago, the vast majority of us voted because of party or because of the persons that were presented? Because I'm premising that question on when the issue arose specific in discussions to whether or not we should have a leaders face-off, Farley versus Tracy, in terms of pushing and prompting the direction. This is who our leadership is going to be, almost similar to the US model, where it is fashioned by the leader and by extension those others. Where do you feel we're at as a people in that context?
So, I've seen a lot of conversation about when people voted, they voted for the PDP versus the PNM. And so it's one brand versus the other, and it's not the person and so forth. So let's start with Tobago. In Tobago, at election time, what do the political parties do? They go around the island looking for people they deem to be electable. What does that mean? Those persons already are deemed to have currency, meaning if you put them up, they can get elected. So when you turn around and you say that the people voted for the party, is that totally true? And I'm using the word totally true because some of it may be in there.
Correct.
Right? But is it totally true? You look for people who are already electable. So to me, it's unethical for you to start saying that you want to claim that person's victory as all your own when you went looking for electable people in the first place. It's not like in the US, where oftentimes the place is so big, you don't even actually know who you're voting for. What happens is they put this person on TV and they turn them into this particular character, because oftentimes that person you're seeing on TV isn't actually the real person. You understand what I'm saying? And they do that and they present that to you. But you vote because that's the Democrats, or that's the Republicans, or whatever the case may be. So I think in the US and these larger places, even in Trinidad, I would say it's very true. The parties can claim that you are voting for us far more than the personalities. But in Tobago, we actually know the people that we are voting for. So is it the same? And I think for me, that is one of the things about this act that I absolutely love. It's one of the few documents, I think, in the Caribbean that sort of reflect how we live codified in a document. So we know, or I should say, A.N.R. Robinson knew, and whomever else helped him write it, that we would actually be voting for people that we know and we trust and we grew up with. And so for them, if you look at the act, you realize that the assemblymen are almost sacrosanct. You can't just remove them because the people put them there because they know them and they trust them. Just because you come and snag them up under the banner of a political party, you're not going to have the right to remove the person that the people put there. And I think that's beautiful. It reflects our reality. We know them.
One of the areas we want to touch on very quickly as well, that you would have noted in your video, spoke to the issue of, that has been largely said, Troy Charles makes it clear that the Tobago House of Assembly Act, as one of the persons who contributed to framing as well, is not premised on political parties. And I know you would have made reference, and just give us a little clarity with regards to that, where the references have actually been made to party within the context of the Tobago House of Assembly Act.
So there are three references in the Tobago House of Assembly Act using the word party, right? One of the references basically says, hey, if the assembly was involved in a legal matter previously, then when you install a new assembly, this new assembly is still party to the proceedings of that legal matter. Clearly, that doesn't mean political party, right? The only other two references to party in the document is where it says how a councillor is picked. And the councillor is picked by a person or a party.
Yes.
Right? And then the next reference, or the next time you see the word party, is when it tells you how to remove, well, not how to remove a councillor, what happens after the councillor is removed. Those are the two references to the word party. Now, here's the funny thing. You see that first reference to party? Just above that first reference, and I wish they could bring it back up on the screen, just above the first reference to party, where it's talking about the councillor, you see where it says 19.1, A, B, C, D, and E? Those are the areas that tell you how an assemblyman is removed. Now, here's why this is noteworthy. Just below that, number 2, I am using the word party, and I am telling you that a councillor could be removed based on the party or person who put him there. And just above that, I don't use the word party to tell you how an assemblyman could be removed. So tell me, how purposeful is that? It's not that I forgot. I wrote it right after. You understand? I have deliberately left the word party out. So when people are talking about, oh, the assembly is silent on it, and that's nonsense. The assembly is not silent on it. The assembly tells you how that person can be removed. The assembly doesn't have to say all the ways they can't be removed. By definition, if I tell you how they can be removed, then they can't be removed any
By the
other
other
way.
ways. That
So
you're automatically saying that.
exactly. So people keep saying, well, it didn't speak about that. It didn't speak about a lot of things, a lot of other ways, you know.
And one of the things I have to get very quickly from you, Jason, before we wrap this morning. I know we are also operating in a space. Marketing is one of your areas of focus. 1 year in, we're looking ultimately, and particularly with this matter that has come up, we're hearing perspectives from the PDP, we're hearing from the PNM. How do you feel ultimately when you look at the various brands now that are out there, specific at that to the PNM, the PDP, and then obviously the collective of Farley at this point, and the other independents who at this point have separated themselves from the PDP. How do you posture those brands in the Tobago space currently?
All right, so let's talk about branding. All a brand really means is that when I think about this particular brand, there are these images and ideas that pop into my head. So for instance, let's say Apple. When you think of Apple, you have these images and ideas, okay? Now, as a consumer, my only concern about a brand is how it affects me. So if, let's say Apple, if I buy an Apple phone, I know I can sell it back for a certain amount of money. If Apple changes its name, that's going to affect me because I may not be able to sell things back for as much as previously. In the same way, if we're talking about brands, brand PNM and brand PDP, the question is, A, what do those brands stand for, one? And two, is anything about what these brands stand for beneficial to me, right? Because outside of that, I don't particularly concern myself with your brand, yeah? And so right now we are saying you have a brand PNM and a brand PDP. Well, I don't know what the brand PNM necessarily stands for other than longevity. Now, some people may say that's valuable. Well, I don't know how valuable the longevity of the party is and how valuable that is in terms of governance, because we actually have a government, yeah? And once you have a government, things are running. The fact that your party is X or Y or Z or whatever the case may be, it's been around for all these years, doesn't necessarily affect the actual governance. The government will still run as it is running right now. So the question really is, what do you stand for that benefits me? And I think that is something that people have to answer. What does the PNM stand for that benefits you? And what does the PDP stand for that benefits you? I think people only know those answers individually. Now, all the other games that are going on with, the PNM saying this about the PDP and the PDP saying that, I don't know how far that's going. I don't know how well it's penetrating. But for me, it's always, what do you stand for? And how does that translate into a benefit for me? Outside of that.
Excellent. Thank you very much there, Jason Arthur, this morning, giving us his perspectives and the clear interpretation. And I like the level of certainty. It's not just an interpretation, but quoting what the facts are specific to the Tobago House of Assembly, the Tobago House of Assembly Act, the Constitution, and then more importantly, the standing orders of the Tobago House of Assembly and the standing orders that governs the operations of our Parliament within the Trinidad and Tobago space. So thank you very much again, Jason Arthur, for joining us here on set as we discuss the THA standing orders in layman terms. Viewers and listeners, we have coming up next Petal Joseph, a managing director and principal consultant. So we look forward to those upcoming discussions with her. Just before, we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Welcome. It's Christmas time at Le Mage Parfait Day Spa.
And we invite you to indulge in a range of gift vouchers, gift packages, body pampering services, and more. We can even host your next spa party. With 2 branches conveniently located in Trinidad and Tobago, we look forward to making your experience beautifully unforgettable. Call us today or visit our website, elparfait.com.
Feliz Navidad. Bienvenido a Le Mage Parfait Day Spa.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers. It's 7:43 a.m. and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. I'm Julian Skeet, and heading into this next segment, we are chatting this morning in our lineup, and this morning we're speaking the environment, and we are chatting with Petal Joseph, a managing director and principal consultant of I3 Green Consultants Limited. Morning to you, Petal.
Good morning, Mr. Skate. Thank you for having me. Good morning to all your viewers, listening and viewing public.
All right. So as we get started this morning, well, the concept and the idea and the entity in particular seems new to me, but you will clarify. Tell us, who is I3 Green Consultants Limited?
Well, it's I3 Green Consultants Limited, and we are a firm that's really focused on sustainability and green building. As you know, sustainability, or as you may know, sustainability is a concept that really gained popularity in about the mid-1980s into the late 1980s. But it was in practice and principle in the field of ecology long before that. But in the Industrial Revolution times, when the economy started to see problems with population growth and the strain on the natural resources, you heard more and more the term sustainable development being used. It was positioned as a solution to those problems that they were encountering or that they were foreseeing coming our way. Many people might know about Thomas Malthus and his very doom and gloom kind of premonitions in those days. He was really visionary for his time. He was way ahead of those problems that we see manifesting today in terms of climate change and population growth.
So I want to ask you to break it down a bit in terms of, let's speak a little bit more. We speak sustainability, and it is a word bandied about in and around. When we speak about it in the context of our environment, I want you to put it down for me in layman terms. Yeah. What are we really referring to when we speak to the issue of sustainability?
Well, in the 2000s, there was this big push by the UN in particular. I don't know if you might remember the Millennium Development Goals. Those were broad, I think it was 7 or 8 goals we had based on 3 pillars: people, planet, and profit. Because everybody recognized that in order for sustainable development to really be sustainable, money had to be a part of the discussion. But they recognized the need to protect these resources that we were using, right, and relying on. So the Sustainable Development Goals came at the end of that 15-year period at 2016 to take us through to the next 15 years. And it's broadened the focus from those 3 pillars to 5. So it became people, planet, those stayed, because you have to deal with the social and you have to deal with the environment. It also changed from profit to prosperity, understanding that it wasn't just about the dollars and cents, but there was value in those economic resources that we couldn't yet quantify, right? And in addition to that, peace and partnership. Because in order for all of those iniquities and inequalities that existed between the developed countries and the developing countries, there needed to be a leveling of the playing field. And that brought into the discussion matters like diversity and inclusion, right? And you saw more and more a valuation of those natural resources that we rely so much on.
And if we were to ask the question and we see the broader perspective in terms of sustainability and so on, how does it impact me as an individual, as a
Yeah.
person looking on out there? If they say, all right, well, I'm not as in touch with the environment,
Yeah.
how does this really impact me
Yeah.
as an individual?
Yeah, I understand that because for me it's a passion. For most people, as you said, it's a very kind of ethereal concept and it doesn't relate to their everyday lives, or at least so they think.
Yes.
But sustainability now really applies across the board. It's less of a topic or a discipline and it's more of a mindset. So, for example, I thought of 5 tips I wanted to share with our public this morning. 5 tips to green your holiday season and beyond. Whether you're celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, it doesn't matter. There are things that we all can do, very simple, on an individual level, on a daily basis, to improve our sustainability, to reduce our carbon footprint, if you will. And so one of the first tips I would like to share is recycling. Whether you're going to a family gathering, an office function, a church event, it's simple to set aside one bin, one bag to collect those plastics, those aluminum tins, those Tetra Packs. And you will be surprised the difference. Extracting those from the regular garbage stream, you'll be surprised the difference it makes in volume. Another simple thing that you could recycle out of your home waste is your organic stuff. You're doing your kitchen prep, put those things aside, dump them somewhere in the yard and create a compost heap.
Right, that's what we grew up knowing as
That
a
is what we
compost
grew up
heap.
knowing. And that's one of the things about sustainability. People think it's this new age, science, high-tech. Most of it is common sense. A lot of it is what traditionally our ancestors would have done. And because we come from an oral tradition, maybe some of the reasoning behind why they did those things was lost. And we figured the connection to those things, they were too traditional and they old. But it's not about that. There was common sense behind it. So recycle is my first tip in any setting, wherever you're at. Secondly, plant something you consume regularly. Anything. It could be one thing. Plant it. Whether it is in a container, on your windowsill in the kitchen, if you have a little room outside in your garden, if you have a shed and you could convert part of it into like a greenhouse setup, plant something. Thirdly, I would say make smarter choices with your transportation. Travel as a carpooling when you can. This holiday season, many of us are going to be liming and gathering in groups. Travel with friends and family. Everybody don't have to jump in their own vehicle. Use public transport when you can. I know in Trinidad and Tobago that can be difficult. It could be frustrating, it could be challenging, but there are days when you can opt to leave your car at home and travel. Yeah? If you are able to, switch fuel, switch vehicle to something that's more energy efficient. That is another way to make, because transportation has one of the highest impacts on our environment. And in a small island space like this, it's easy to lead to other problems like congestion on the road. Yes. Yeah? So change the way we look at transport. That's third. Fourth, I would say find a local farmer, somebody who's producing or manufacturing something locally, and support them to the hilt. Find one thing that you love about what they are doing and market them, support them constantly. There are several local brands, foodstuff, art, hair and beauty products that are good quality and on par with a lot of those imports that we know by brand name, right? Support your local economies. Support your local small businesses. And the last one I have is, it's a big one. Choose an R and commit it. Many of us know the 3 R's of solid waste management. That's reduce, reuse, and recycle. In sustainability, we've expanded that to 7 R's. And recycling is actually the last on the hierarchy. We have a hierarchy, right? The first of all is being rethink. Rethink how you look at consumerism, your consumption. We all have things that we love. We all have products, materials that we prefer, but we can become a little more educated about how these products are manufactured, what goes into them, and really decide on a personal, individual level, this might harm the environment in the long run. Maybe I want to opt to go another route. So there's rethink. There's refuse. You could choose not to buy. Something that's hard for us, but you can refuse. You can reduce, you can reuse, then you can repair. Like we forget we could repair things. We've gotten very accustomed to this throwaway culture. It breaks, and instead of trying to fix it, we go and we look to buy a new one, right? So you can repair or regift. You might get something, and it's not particularly your style, but you have a friend that you know will really rock it. And there's nothing wrong with regifting things that you don't want instead of just having them gather dust or going into the trash. And then finally recycle. So for us in the sustainability world, recycling is really a good introductory point for others. It's an easy activity to get people involved in. My son has been recycling with me since he was 4. So it's a good first entry-level activity to introduce in your home, in your workplace, and other areas.
And you've just hit the nail on the head for me. How do we, as a consultancy, get this kind of knowledge and practice into our generations and young persons from very early, so that you grow up with this kind of mindset? Because unfortunately, this is not exactly on the school curriculum.
Yeah.
We learn the basics for the purpose of passing an examination.
Yeah.
But in terms of developing that mindset that gets us to recognize, hey, this is not something we just read about because we want to pass an exam. But ultimately, this is something that we're required to practice in terms of really trying to build a better environment. What is your thinking or the plans in that direction to really seek to engage from as early as possible?
You answered the question there. One of the things I recognize, because I've been in this field for about 20 years, and it's been hard going. And probably because initially, to me, it just makes so much sense. It didn't occur to me that it didn't make sense to everybody else. So I came into the field thinking, well, we'll all just get on board and do this. And realized over time that, as you said, there was a gap. People just didn't know. They weren't aware. They had no clue. And so you're quite right. The missing link there is the children. And children very quickly become warriors. They follow the example that is set. So if they're seeing it happening in the homes, if they're seeing it happening in their schools, in their church and other social settings, they are the ones that will come behind you and say, hey, but mommy, I forget to turn off the light. Hey, daddy, that don't go in there. That's supposed to go in the recycling. Yeah? And so they then become our checks and balances at home, at work, and those other places. Yeah? So getting the children, and you're quite right, we do not have it in our curriculum. It's very glossed over. The best treatment I have seen of sustainability matters has been in the Pinnacle series. They have really gone into depth in terms of some of the concepts. But in terms of our curriculum in the schools, it's lacking. It's lacking, and that is definitely ground zero where we need to start. Currently, I am advising the Bishop's Environmental Club, and we are hoping that we can implement what we call a Green School program. It's a very comprehensive project and undertaking, but we have started, as I said, with recycling. So they have recycling bins that have been launched on the school compound that are then fed into the eye care community bins outside. Yeah, and we hope to grow that. We hope to grow that, to expand into the composting, rainwater harvesting. All of these are things that we can do on an individual or community level to increase our resilience and reduce our carbon footprint.
Do you see an opportunity here, in terms of collaborative efforts? We have had on for some time Sean Roberts in terms of leading the recycling initiative and so on, plastic, placing the bins out there.
Yeah.
Do you see opportunities for collaboration in really pushing? Because
definitely.
I know you are sounding as passionate as he does as well.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that. When RWL was looking to come to Tobago, that's when Sean and I really connected, because at the time I was sitting at the Festivals Commission as project manager. And I had taken it on as my personal mission to green the events we were hosting. So I had already started the recycling, but was lacking some of the support because my dear manager at the time made it quite clear that it was not something that would be funded. And he was right. We see recycling as waste. So there was no money in a budget to deal with waste, which is one of our big misconceptions and oversights here. So in that effort, Sean and I connected, and by jazz of 2019, we had a very successful recycling event initiative that year between Speyside, Pigeon Point. You know, the jazz events were well patronized, and I don't have the numbers, Sean has them, but we did divert quite a bit of waste that year. And that was my second year doing recycling. The year before that, I was literally on my own. My husband there by my side, dragging bins at 4 o'clock. Yes. So it's not glamorous, and people tend to think you're just dealing in rubbish. But that is one of the shifts we have to make in our mindset, that waste is a resource. It's not trash. Because those plastic bottles we take out, the tins we take out, the glass bottles we take out, those are all materials that become a resource.
Are you open for collaborations with groups and organizations and entities that
definitely
they may not necessarily be an environment group that functions all year round, but a part of their work may also include environmental projects similar to the schools?
Everybody's work involves sustainability. Let me just make that clear. Sustainability can be implemented if you're sitting in an office dealing with procurement, if you're an executive of a company dealing with, you know, all those strategic. There is a place for sustainability lens. So I am open to working with any and everybody. I really throw out an open door, in particular to the THA administration, because I believe with this kind of training, our secretaries can make better decisions. Yeah.
All right. And I want you to share, for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, contact information. So for those who are hearing and they're like, wow, I didn't even know we had someone dealing exclusively here with sustainability.
Yes.
Contact information, how can they reach out to you and to connect with the consultancy?
Well, of course, there's the website, www.i3green.com. You can reach me on WhatsApp, mobile, 684-1908. I'm on all the regular social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn at I3Green. Instagram, I'm at Green Building Consultant. Feel free to reach out, message, if it's just a question, because it's about education. It's about awareness. So the more people we have coming on board, the more people understanding what sustainability is about, is the greater results, because it's really a sustained change we need to make that we'll have.
So I'm certain from here, viewers you and listeners, you have a greater perspective than just hearing the common thing, oh, we need to have sustainable development. And that's the direction to go. In our final 30 seconds, what would you like to share with our viewers and listeners here as we wrap this morning's interview?
Green is not just a color. Sustainability is a mindset that we can all encompass and generate some kind of change in our little square footage here. Make a positive change on this world, because the definition of sustainable development is utilizing the resources for our present needs while not compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own. It's not ours to take.
Well said. I feel like we need to have a series, viewers and listeners, so that we begin to become even more exposed and to continue to be informed. So thank you so much again, Petal Joseph, Managing Director and Principal Consultant at I3 Green Consultants Limited, for joining us here on set. And as she indicated to you, you can most certainly connect with them via the socials. And there is that opportunity to include sustainability in every element of the work that we do here in our various spaces and places, whether public or private sector. So we look forward to those opportunities as we take on that greater responsibility to really drive our island in that direction. All right, viewers, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support. Those of you joining us via TV, Gael and MNE TV, those connecting with us and listening via the radio, and those of you on your devices that continue to support us out there, we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
USC Music is coming to Tobago. For the first time ever, USC Music is coming to Tobago as we present The Greatest Story, Thrill of Hope, our annual scholarship fundraiser. This year, you have even more opportunities to be a part of this amazing theatrical production as we tell the greatest story ever in a way that you've never seen or heard before, on Thursday, December 15th, 6 p.m. at the Shore Park Cultural Complex. Experience the dramatic adaptation of this timeless story, featuring the Mount St. George Drama Group, along with all new music presented by our University ensembles, including the USC University Choir and Orchestra, collaborating with some of your favorite artists, including Lucretia Lucky Horrell, Sharon Phillips, The Music Amateurs, Wayne Harris, poet Darren Sandy, Junior Archer, Renee Lawrence, Chanel Spencer, the Lambeau Anglican School Choir, and many more. Ticket prices are children and students with ID $100, general admission $150. Get your tickets at the box office Shore Park Cultural Complex in IADPA Bookstore in Tobago, Dr. D's Health Foods, Port Mall Scarborough, Harmon School of SDA and USC Tobago Campus, Educators Bookstore, Books and Office Supplies, TLH Building, Downtown Scarborough, Bill Brown Supermarket, and CloverTickets.com online. Don't miss the opportunity to be a part of this amazing experience. TGS, The Greatest Story, Thrill of Hope.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. Viewers, on set with us, we have Karen Hislop, chairman of the University of the Southern Caribbean, known to us as USC Music Department. And we also have on set with us Vernris Simon Frederick, director of USC's Tobago campus. Morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us. Nice to be here as always.
So as we get the conversation going this morning, you know, we are speaking about the USC's music annual year-end production. So I want to get a sense from you both. Let's start off by talking about, is this new to the Tobago space?
This is new to the Tobago space. It's the first time ever that USC Music is coming to Tobago, and we're very, very excited.
I was just going to say that we are very excited to have you.
Yeah, we're very excited to be here. You know, it's good to come home.
Yes.
You know, I was born and raised in Tobago.
That's right.
Been out for a while, and you know, doing the music stuff, and it's been in the works for a while, and it's finally happening that we're able to bring the music department to Tobago.
You're saying come home, and then I immediately looked at my rundown and I said Hislop. Yep, he has to be connected to Tobago.
Known Tobago.
So tell us your feelings, particularly, Vernris Simon Frederick. I know you would have spent some time in terms of at main campus in Trinidad, then coming across here to take up this responsibility. And passionate for you is almost bringing everything that main campus is able to enjoy to Tobago. How important is this initiative for you?
Super duper, extremely important. We like to say you cannot spell USC without music. You can't spell music without USC. You can't spell music without USC. Right. Music has always been an integral part of USC. When I was a student, I remember being in choirs and being involved in the music. And then around 2015, Karen came back and it exploded once again. We went back to the glory days. We have a brand new music program. And so we also want to bring that to Tobago, but of course, baby steps. Yes. And so whatever we could get from them, we are really excited. And of course, I have a personal passion because my daughter is into music. And so this is like, you know, a big thing for her because she'll be joining the music department soon. So I'm all excited about that too.
Shout outs to Venetia this morning. All right. So as we look at the upcoming, tell us a little bit, and we see it is themed The Greatest Story, Thrill of Hope. Walk us through that journey.
All right. So we've developed what we like to call a brand or a franchise over the last few years, we've done the greatest story production. And what it has morphed into is basically this theatrical production that incorporates music with drama. This year we're adding film and dance and different aspects of the creative arts into one production. So it's almost like you're going to a theater production. It's not a concert where, you know, the MC announces, and now we'll have this artist, and right? From the time you sit down to the end of the production, you'll be captivated as the music is integrated seamlessly into the entire production. So that's what it is. And the theme for this year, as you notice, is Thrill of Hope. This is the first time that we're doing the production since the pandemic. And of course, the pandemic brought a lot of hopelessness to a lot of people, you know, death and sickness and sadness all around. Even coming out of the pandemic, a lot of people still continue to experience hopelessness.
That's true.
And we want to say that, you know, around this time when people focus on the Christmas story and Jesus's birth and so on, that birth signifies something. There was something after that. He was born for a reason and for a purpose. And so we want to highlight that aspect. And so the production this year, Thrill of Hope, doesn't only focus on what happened at the birth around the Christmas time, but it takes you past that. We're going beyond Bethlehem to basically bring to you exactly, you know, what that birth was about, the hope that it brings to each one of us.
All right. And I want you to share, because I know our viewers are tuned in. Tell us, Venus, where is this going to be taking place? What day? What time?
Okay, well, something as big as this could only happen at Shaw Park Cultural Complex. So we will be at the Shaw Park Cultural Complex on Thursday, December 15th, from 6 p.m. Of course, doors open an hour before, because we want you settled and be in place, because at 6, everything starts off. And so we want everyone seated there. And so we're going to be there. Tickets are at a very ridiculously low price. Tobago got the discount offer. So general admission is $150. And for children or students, you come in for $100. And of course, USC students, you also get the $100 fee. So you can come in once you give us your USC ID number, and your ticket can be yours.
All right, excellent. Karen, tell us a little bit about the cast. I know you spoke in terms of, you know, the stories, and from the time it hits go, we're going to be in full mode bringing together all these areas of the creative industry. Tell us a little bit about the cast.
All right, so I'm glad you asked. The story is narrated by 3 people. Mr. Deron Sandy, who is the current National Poetry Slam winner,
yes, champion,
I think, right? Excellent spoken word artist, and he is joined by 2 precocious little young people. Miss Corinne,
highly talented,
Corinne Clark, who has published 7 books by the age of 7. Mr. Asaya Hislop, and they're going to be interacting with him as they narrate the story from beginning to end. We also have the Mount St. George Drama Group that is going to be providing the live aspect of the drama. We also have the critically acclaimed 5 Rivers Drama Group is also going to be in it. We have a host of artists that are going to be collaborating with the USC ensembles. And you're going to hear, in terms of the ensembles, you hear from our jazz band, you'll hear from our steel orchestra, you'll hear from our concert band, but the main group is our choir and orchestra. That's a large ensemble, about 100 people, mass choir with a live orchestra. And we have a number of artists that are going to be collaborating with us, many of them from the Tobago space. And
like
we're very excited for that to happen.
Yes. So Julian, you understand why I'm excited about
and I am seeing here, I'm looking at the flyer, and I'm seeing Tobago names in the lineup.
Because
Tell
we
us
are
a little bit
bringing
about some of
Tobago
those
flavor to it.
Tell us a little bit about some of those persons who will be featured in the lineup here.
I think Verner's mentioned some of them.
So we have Sharon Phillips, there's Junior Archer, there's Music Amateurs. That's a renowned choir here in Tobago, of course. Again, when you talk about music and class, you must include them. What I'm especially excited about is the Lambo Anglican Children's School Choir. So they are also going to be involved in the production. So we really open it up to get that Tobago flavor. And so we're really hoping, Julian, I'm hoping that you will be there, seated next to me, enjoying this, yes?
Most definitely.
And of course, Ria must be there as well.
Certainly.
Yes.
Ria, your invitation has been extended,
Definitely.
so you have a commitment on
and
Tuesday,
shouting out
the 15th
O'Shea
of
this time
December.
as well. We miss you, and we want to see you at the concert too.
We do have some Trinidad artists as well that we are bringing in overseas, you know.
Tell us.
Lucky. Horrell, Lucretia Horrell is going to be one of our headline acts. We have Wayne Harris, we have Chanel Spencer, we have Risha Saint-Hilaire,
Renee Lawrence, yes, Renee Lawrence, yes.
Bright talent. So it's something
a true
to look
blend
forward
of Trinidad and Tobago.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. Give us a little reminder in terms of where can persons, I know we spoke about the ticket cost, in terms of $150 and the event taking place Tuesday the 15th of December at 6 p.m. Where can persons get tickets for this event?
Right. So, of course, you can get your tickets at USD. You can also get tickets at Harmon School of STA. We're also at Double B Supermarket, Billabong. We have Mr. Wayne Richardson's stores at TLH Building. You can get there as well. Of course, the box office at the Chopin Cultural Complex will also have tickets. And there are several other places that you can go. More importantly, the Ayadpa bookstore that's opposite Cost Cutters, they will also have tickets. So you have lots of options in terms of places you can go. And right in the Port Mall here, we have Mr. D's, who's also having tickets available. And if you really don't want to go to any of those places, you can also go online to tovatickets.com, and you can get your tickets there, for those of you who are more tech savvy.
All right,
No
so
excuse.
I see we have a full,
Exactly,
we have a
excuse.
full lineup on screen, folks, at the box office at Shaw Park, USC Tobago campus. Right, and you indicated Harmon School of SDA.
And Educators Bookstore as well, uptown. So you can also go to Educators Bookstore, yes.
Excellent. So again, just to remind our viewers and for those tuning in, why is this a must-attend event?
Well, it's USC music. I mean, and anyone who has heard USC music wants to hear them again. So once you hear USC music, the excitement is already there. So for those of you who haven't heard USC music, you're missing out something. Come experience it. It is phenomenal. Out of this world. Of course, we also have other acts here like Monks and George Drama Group. Once you bring Monks and George in, there's going to be drama and excitement. So we are not going to disappoint. As I said, from the moment we hit off at 6 o'clock, you are going to be enthralled until the very end. And the name says it all, Thrill of Hope. We are going to bring back the hope to Tobago.
All right. Tell us, and we talk a little bit in relation to the progressive side of things. Any hopes or dreams in terms of the music department's work coming to Tobago beyond just the I'm not putting you on spot here.
Not really,
Your campus principal and chair must be looking on.
Julian, to be honest, this is a discussion we have been having for the last couple of years, and it's really just a matter of fine-tuning certain things. But I think this is a step in the right direction, because one of the things that we want to do is to raise awareness
of the
music program in Tobago. We have a lot of musical talent that comes out of Tobago. Phenomenal, doing very well on the national and international stage. And we want to be able to help to nurture that talent and to develop the talent in Tobago. So hopefully, after this concert, we're going to be able to raise some interest and so on. And once we get a cohort,
we are going to run.
We are going to.
Yes.
It's right there. It's right there. Yeah.
Excellent. So as we prepare to wrap this morning's interview, both of you, your final words and reminder, of course, highlighting the dates and information and so when this is taking place.
All right. So we want to invite the entire Tobago space, the entire Tobago population to come out on Thursday, December 15th. It's going to be an experience like no other, something that this is not an ordinary concert, like we said. This is an experience. That's what we like to say.
That is an experience, yes.
And we want to invite you to come out and to join us. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you will have fun.
Have all the feelings in between.
Yeah, the whole range, the whole rainbow, and it's gonna be an experience you never forget. So we invite you to come out, support USC music, support USC and have a great time.
Yes, and you have no excuse. For those of you who may not be able to get any of the ticket outlets, we would be there on the day from 4 p.m. selling tickets. All right, and we're putting things in place to accept links as well. So if you don't have cash, you can come with your links cards on the day, purchase your tickets, and be a part of the experience. It's Shore Park Cultural Complex. There's space for all of Tobago, so you can come and be a part of the experience.
All right, they're catering for you in every way, form, and fashion. And folks, you know it's a good thing when you have camera, your director, Candice, lined up watching this interview live and not even looking at the TV. So you know you're doing something good on set as an indication as we look forward. Yes, as we look forward to this upcoming event. So folks, it's the greatest story, Thrill of Hope, and it takes place on Thursday, the 15th of December from 6 p.m. at the Shore Park Complex. And they're inviting persons to come out. Feel free to connect with them, various areas and locations. And where can they get this information on social media as well?
Definitely. It would be on USC's Facebook pages or Instagram pages also have the information as well.
USC Music TT, that's our handle. So any social media, we also have, if you go to the website, usc.edu.tt/music/TGS, all the information is there as well.
Excellent. So once again, thank you very much to Karen Hislop, Chairman of the Music Department at USC, and to Vernis Simon Frederick, Director of the Tobago Campus, for really bringing the information to us. And it's time to celebrate. We're in that season. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Let's certainly take the opportunity and time out to continue to enjoy the celebrations. And we want to thank you all very much for joining us on set. The viewers, yes, we're in the final segment here of the Tobago Updates morning show. But we got one more thing, a photo to bring up on screen, because very often we bring birthday greetings to you live. But we've got Mommy on set this morning to send out her very own birthday greetings. This is your opportunity, Mom.
This is a special surprise. This is my little Jewel Reagan. She turned 2 yesterday. She's telling you she turned 2. We had a wonderful time yesterday. Thank you so much, Julia. She was all excited when she saw her face on the TV yesterday morning. All excited about it. And we are really praising God for giving us 2 years with Reagan. Looking forward to many more years.
Excellent. So, Reagan, you're hearing the voice of Mommy on set this morning. So, viewers, we want to thank you so much again, only on the Tobago Updates morning show, and we continue to thank you so much for your love and support. And as we continue to say, we are number one because of each and every one of you connecting with us here in Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, throughout the region and the world at large. We thank you so much. We'll see you on Monday, but remember to stay tuned and stay connected, because from here we head straight on over to GMT with Candice. So take care and bye-bye for now. This has been the Tobago Updates morning show.
Sherlan McPherson Jr., twins Sarah and Sarai, King David Potts, Angel Johnson, Ezekiel Lyons, Jason Melville, and Sapphire Faith. These are a few of the babies and infants gone but not forgotten. They and many others were remembered at this year's International Wave of Light ceremony held by the Zafiri Foundation at Scarborough General Hospital. It's the third year the foundation is publicly raising awareness about the trauma Tobago families face after losing a child. Supporters at the ceremony say there's much need for this event.
You know, it makes you aware of what is happening out there, and that there are people out there, you know, that who needs such awareness to bring us to that place of understanding that there is hurt and pain out there, and we need to come together to support, you know, such people.
I think what Zafiri Foundation is doing is really important for moms and dads, siblings, relatives, because I really believe we are always dealing with traumatic situations, especially infant loss. Groups for it. I really hope that it can grow even larger, you know, throughout the both islands and even regionally. so that we can bring more awareness and sensitivity to it.
The Wave of Light ceremony started 20 years ago in the UK and the US. This year's candle lighting activity was done under the theme Stepping Stones. Makeda Grace started a Zafiri Foundation after losing her unborn several years ago. She says support groups like hers are vital to many.
You can't just get up a morning and lose a baby and expect to go back to normal reality tomorrow. No, it takes baby steps. Hence the reason why the theme for this year in pregnancy loss is stepping stones. So each step that you take, you know that you're not alone in this journey, and it gives them an avenue to know that they're not alone, and that by sharing and hearing different stories, they could use information from different persons as to how they would have coped after the loss.
The foundation facilitated an online session with a psychologist for its members. It provided the counseling they need to begin to heal. An awareness walk from Shore Park Complex to the Scarborough General Hospital also helped to sensitize the public about pregnancy and infant loss.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. PDP political leader Watson Duke described the decision by Chief Secretary Fali Augustine and the rest of the Executive Council to leave the party as the highest form of betrayal. He said that the PDP being elected to lead the THA was supposed to be a team effort. However, the resignation signaled that Augustine and company were not committed to the vision. Meanwhile, Duke claimed that Augustine was having problems handling power and was not taking the advice from the right people. Duke said he was disappointed that the executive failed to deliver on campaign promises. And the Trinidad and Tobago Netball Association recently provided details on the firing of Tobagonian coach Kemba Duncan and manager Asha Legal. According to a press release, they outlined that a lack of adherence to protocols and policies of the association, which led to the decision. They said there were regular meetings where shortcomings were pointed out, but no effort was made to rectify them. In the case of the manager, failure to ensure the team was present for the opening ceremony of the Netball World Cup qualifiers was a major faux pas. Additionally, failure to report on the progress of injured players was another infraction. The TTNA indicated they were forced to make the unfortunate decision, but appreciated the work of both Kemba and Legal. Meanwhile, nationally, Michael Kerban, son of Faisal Kerban, who died in a tragic accident at berth 6 of the Paria Fuel Trading Company on February 25, 2022, stated he was prevented from rescuing his father on that day. He appeared on the witness stand for the Commission of Inquiry into the incident. Kerban stated that when the divers went missing, he insisted there was enough time for his father and his 3 colleagues to be saved from the time they were sucked into the pipeline. One survivor, Christopher Boudram, indicated from his knowledge Faisal Kerban was right behind him in the pipe. However, when he attempted to rescue his father, Kerban claimed he was stopped. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And well, viewers, we know that we've got so much happening in our space, this week, when we should be focusing on, getting things prepared for Christmas. We've had a political explosion of sorts, with the ramblings of what's been happening with the PDP, what's been happening with Chief Secretary Fali Augustine, him and the rest of the Executive Council resigning from the PDP, So, and then there's that call for elections, and there's lots of debate as to what the THA Act says in respect of it. But of course, your voice is also important. While we've been bringing people on all week to try to give us, provide you, I should say, various perspectives on the matter. I mean, your voice is also important. So the phone lines are open. So you can give us a call at 284-6597. That's 284-6597. And give us your comments. Like, how do you feel about this situation? I mean, yeah, we want to hear from you. It's really interesting. I mean, we've seen that Mr. Watson Duke, he is committed to the cause in the sense that he is willing to take this thing to court. So, I mean, if he is successful at the court, that means that we're going to be thrown into another election. And I know that as a population, we're perhaps a little bit election weary at this point in time. We just came off of basically 3 years of elections, so there's a lot of people that are like, do we really want to go to another elections? But of course, there are those that are saying, hey, we do want the elections because, you voted those people under the PDP. They did not stick with the PDP. They have now resigned. So because they've resigned, and they did not vote for independence, well, we'll see what happens. So we have a caller on the line. A special good morning and welcome to you. Good morning.
Thank you very much. It's good to be able to interact with you this morning. And the topic is a very important topic because I think it's important for Tobagonians to be where Tobagonians are right now, having to make a decision about their future themselves. We've had enough of Trinidad making decisions. As rough and as rocky as it may seem, is a very, very important part of the development and the progress of the beautiful island of Tobago. So tread lightly, guys, and do what you have to do. But it is important that you do it yourself. All will be well. All will be well.
Great. And thank you so much for your contribution. Of course, viewers, as you heard from that one caller, the phone lines are open. So you can give us a call at 284-6597. Let me know, how do you feel about this situation? I mean, there's so much back and forth. And, it is unfortunate that we're seeing all of this happening. I mean, in just a year of the Fali Augustine-led administration. Now, we can't say the PDP-led administration anymore. When Mr. Augustine was here on Tuesday, he said that, they are the independents, they're just independents at this point in time. So we basically have 13 independents in the House, one PDP member, and this is, of course, the assemblyman, as well as one PNM. And there are the 4 councillors. But I mean, it really is an interesting situation, interesting time. So, give us your call and let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what you think. Should we have another elections or should we remain as it is? Mr. Augustine did indicate that they are moving towards forming their own party. Of course, that would be a little bit later on. They said right now their focus remains Tobago. Their focus remains on serving the people of Tobago to the best of their ability. And when that time comes for them to form that new party, they will. However, they're not rushing the process. So until then, they remain as independents. And of course, unless, Mr. Watson Duke takes this thing to court, and unless, there is a decision in court that says that there's going to be an election, well, this is how it's going to remain. 13 independents, 1 PDP, 1 PNM, interesting times in the House. So again, the phone lines are open. Give me a call. It's 284-6597. How do you feel? How do you also feel about the fact that the THA Act seems to be silent on the matter? There's been a number of people that have been on our programs throughout the week that have stated that you know, the whole situation, the whole design, the whole construct of the assembly is that even though that you might be elected under a banner of a party, the minute that you become an assemblyman, you are in a sense and you can act as an independent. You have the authority. You do not vote. You're not compelled to vote along party lines. You know, the chief secretary is elected. The minority leader, the deputy chief secretary, is elected from all of the elected assemblymen. So it can go either way, no matter what banner the people are on. It's made so that, you know, when people decide to cross the floor, so to speak, that it may not affect their standing within the House. You know, was this a good move? Do you think that, I mean, it was a good construct for the THA Act, or do you think that that should be changed so that, I mean, it should be similar to the House of Representatives Act, where it says that, you know, basically if you do resign from the party, you essentially vacate your seat in the House. So, you know, how are you feeling about it? The phone lines are open this morning, and the number is 284-6597. The number again is 284-6597. So give us a call and let me know what do you think about this whole situation? How does this also affect you? How do you feel about the governance of the island at this point in time? Now, we've had, from the past couple of weeks, we had each assemblyman on the executive council on, as well as the councillor, with the exception, of course, of Mr. Dika Orr, who was unable to be on with me. But we're hoping to get her at a later date, because her perspective and her role is also important. But I digress. But you know, it is. We've had them on, and they've been speaking a lot about the fact that they are focused, they remain committed to that mandate upon which they were elected. But, you know, and they say that they can still lead despite all of these problems, all these issues up in the space. Their leadership remains untarnished. But how do you feel about that? But in the meantime, we're going to just take a quick break. And when we come back, we're just going to continue with our discussion. So don't go anywhere.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Yeah.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. And yes, viewers, we are speaking to you this morning because your voice is so important to the conversation. So give us your call. The number is 284-6597 and share us your views on what's been happening. Now, I just want to bring up an editorial here. Okay, so we have a caller on. So special good morning and welcome to you.
Hello, good morning.
Caller, good morning.
How are you? I am very proud of the guys who take that decision. So, a party cannot be a party unless we have representatives. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah. Yes, you can go
Yeah.
ahead with your contribution.
Yes. Okay, a party cannot be a party without representatives. And once you are elected to serve, your focus should be on serving, not on the party. How can a party be manipulating a representative? I really don't know, right? And I'm very proud of the stand the individuals take. Looking forward to see more from them.
Contribution. All right. So yes, viewers, we are continuing to take your calls. So okay, no, sorry, apparently we are out of time for for calls this morning. So on the program with us this morning, let me just bring that up. We have Miss Anjali Chutal, and she is the Family Planning Association. We were speaking about planning associations in Tobago, and she's the clinic coordinator of Family Planning Association in Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning and welcome. And of course, you have another guest on with you as well.
Pleasant good morning. How are you?
We're fine.
Good. So allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm Anjali Chotalal.
Okay,
So I'm the
so
clinic.
my apologies. All right,
That's all right.
and your partner, who is the next person with you?
Go ahead.
My name is Chris Eagle. I'm also part of the Family Planning Association.
All right, great. Now we're speaking this morning about Family Planning Association in Tobago, and you guys are setting up an office here, a branch here. So just tell me about your ventures here into Tobago.
So we do have, as you call it, a branch in Tobago. It's actually in collaboration with the THA. So we have a clinic in Bacolet. However, we need to have a little minor repairs done. So at the moment, we can't use that building. So what we have opted to do is to have to come to different areas in Tobago. So it's like an outreach setting. So we're going around Tobago, not all in one day though, but throughout the year we're going around Tobago providing services. So for this week we were actually here from Wednesday. Today is our very last day for the December month. So we're here at the Canaan Bonaccord multi-purpose facility. It's a beautiful facility, brand new, very nice, very accessible. We're on Center Street in Bonaccord. So that's our plan, because our main building, our branch as you call it, needs to have some repairs done. And as I said, it's in collaboration with the THA. We decided to take another strategy where we're actually going out to different parts of Tobago.
All right. And I mean, can you give us an idea of what are some of the services that the Family Planning Association offers to the public?
So to the public, we offer pap smears, which is cervical cancer screening. We do manual breast exams. So we check for the abnormalities of the breast. If we detect something that requires further investigation, this is so important because we're seeing a rise in cancer cases in women, both cervical and breast. We also offer family planning services. We offer STI testing for chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and HIV. All of these are rapid tests, so a person can come, get tested for those things, and they know their results within less than half an hour. We also do counseling. We have urology services, but we do not have our urologist here with us, as well as our general practitioner. So in a nutshell, so we provide contraceptive services, pap smear screening, manual breast exams, contraceptive services. We check your weight, we check your blood pressure, we check your urine, we check Oh, there's a whole set of things that we do at family planning. So in our clinic here today, we're doing the pap smear screening, which is the pap smear. We're doing the manual breast exam. So it's called the female health package because it's specially catered for us women. So what we do is the pap smear, the manual breast exam. We check your blood pressure, we check your blood sugar, we check your urine, and we do a weight check as well. We're also doing free, and I must state, free HIV testing. So the HIV testing, if you want to come down and get one, that's free. The other STI tests are at a cost, also the pap smear is at a cost. I know a lot of people tend to think that we're offering everything free, but unfortunately we're not at that point yet. So the only thing that we can offer right now free is the HIV testing. But I want to implore our women out there that, we are very often, Christmas is the worst time because, we're busy cleaning the house, buying stuff and, making things look nice and festive for Christmas. But, none of this can be enjoyed without health. So I want to really, really say to us women there, please come out, take advantage of the opportunity. The women's health package is only $200 and you get all of that done. You can test for your STIs, syphilis, chlamydia, gonorrhea, and that's only $100. And if you want to start a contraceptive, we are here. Ladies, please take care of your health. It is precious. Without us, the world will fall down. I'm not sure if my partner will agree here.
I mean, and as he is there with you, Mr. Gill, I mean, can he also give us, because I mean, a lot of times when you hear about family planning, we think about women, and it seems as though, more women access these services, but you guys also offer a range of services for men. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the services that we have for men is the prostate exam. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that here, but what we have is the free HIV and STI testing, which is also very important for men to know their status, because as you know, HIV we are still in the pandemic of HIV, and we all need to take our part to get HIV down to zero. So as much as possible, even though we're not doing the prostate exam at this moment, at least get tested for HIV, because it's always important to know your status. So that way, if you are positive, you could get your treatment and continue to live your life healthy and happy.
And I would like to add, gentlemen, I know we have this taboo about how our prostate is examined, but prostate cancer is a serious thing. It can be avoided. And that simple check can do so much to ensuring that you do not develop prostate cancer. Right? So once you're 40 and over, gentlemen, please, you need to have this done. All right? So it's not about, I am a man and I don't, it's a medical examination that ensures your health and long life.
And you want to continue to be able to use your tools for much longer than just up to 40. So come get your prostate checked.
And how prevalent is prostate cancer within our population?
It's very high actually, because black men or men of color, and because of our diet, we are prone to prostate cancer more than the usual persons. So it's important to get it, to know what is happening in your body.
All right. And then, I mean, tell me a little bit about, what times and how often would the clinic be open in Tobago?
So today we are here we've already started. We started at 8 and we're here till 4. I mean, we're willing people who, want to do the last minute thing and they're trying to struggle for that 4 p.m. I mean, we are willing and welcome to enable you, to accommodate you. We are looking to come to Tobago. It's all a matter of budgeting and the cost because everything is going up. So we are hoping to be here every month, if not at least every 2 months. So you will definitely see a bigger and a better presence of the Family Planning Association of Trinidad and Tobago in Tobago, because we recognize that everybody needs healthcare and we recognize there's a need for it and there are services that we can provide. So Tobago, next year, look out for us. We're going to be all over the place.
Yes, we will.
All right. And just to be clear, today is the last day until January.
For December, correct, yes.
So we are here till 4, but if you want to come at 4:30, we may still be here. So, but still try to reach before 4.
Reach out to you as well.
Yes, there's a number that you can call if you really want to make that time, or even come during the day. It's 292-3411. So you can call or send a WhatsApp message. Either is good.
All right, great.
So
Well, thank you.
292-3411.
Great. I want to thank you both for being on this morning and for sharing about the Family Planning Association Clinic. So viewers, if you want to access those services that are so important, always going to know our status is, like you said, like they said, HIV is still very real within our population. But of course, HIV is not the only thing that we need to be concerned about. There's a lot more that we need to be concerned about. And it's always good to get checked up and make sure that everything's fine. All right. So the Family Planning Association Clinic is open until 4 p.m. today at the Canaan Multipurpose Center. So make your way down and get tested. All right, viewers, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll be chatting with Ms. Natasha Brown Allen about some legal aid and advisory services here in Tobago. You don't want to miss it, so see you in a little bit.
Excuse me, Mr. Man. Playground rhymes. That's why I'm bringing back the playground rhymes.
Welcome. It's Christmas time at Le Mage Parfait Day Spa.
And we invite you to indulge in a range of gift vouchers, gift packages, body pampering services, and more. We can even host your next spa party. With 2 branches conveniently located in Trinidad and Tobago, we look forward to making your experience beautifully unforgettable. Call us today or visit our website, elparfait.com.
Feliz Navidad. Bienvenido a Le Mage Parfait Day Spa.
The Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection is moving to better serve you. Turn left onto Glen Road. Another left onto Montessori Drive. Welcome to the new location of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house gets flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Now, viewers, we are chatting with Miss Natasha Brown Allen, and we are talking about legal aid. She is a representative, she's a legal officer, I should say, from the Legal Aid Advisory Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. And there's an outreach here happening in Tobago. Of course, if you are somebody who needs legal services, well, you're going to learn how you can access some of that. So good morning and welcome to you. How are you doing?
Thank you, and I'm fine. Thank you for having me today.
So, okay, so first of all, give me an idea of what's happening today in respect to that legal aid outreach that you guys are hosting.
Most definitely. So today, right here at the Port Mall in Tobago, Legal Aid and Advisory Authority Tobago District Office will be present on the ground floor. So you can come by and you can get your advice, and if there's any further follow-ups, then we will more or less recommend or suggest that you come to our main office, which is in Bacalet, Scarborough, Tobago.
Certainly. So, I mean, we know that when it comes to legal matters, you know, you have a court case or so on, it's so intimidating for much of the public. But you guys offer these services free of charge.
Yes. Well, in terms of accessing legal advice, there's a small fee attached of $50. Except if you're a senior citizen or you can show that you are in receipt of a grant, for example, a disability grant. So you may be exempt from paying that $50 fee for service. So when you come with your ID card, you come with the $50 to pay. They will ask you some preliminary questions about what the matter is, have you processed, and then you will be in line to see the next available legal officer. So that's one aspect of what we do, legal advice. Following that, you can also get representation depending on your matter, whether it be at the magisterial court or at the high court, whether it be criminal, civil, or family, you can get representation.
I was just about to ask you, you know, what kind of advice can people access it for? But give me an idea, just explain a little bit further as to some of the cases you guys have been able to handle from the public.
Most definitely. A lot, which is sad, but a lot of our matters in Tobago are divorce, sadly, and land matters. And of course, things dealing with family and children, such as maintenance for children and these kinds of things. But we offer a wide range of service on various legal matters. It doesn't matter what type of matter you have before the court or you want to get advice on, you can come pay your $50 and get the advice. However, there may be some restrictions when it comes to representation, but you can get advice on all matters.
And how important it is for somebody to just, you know, have that idea of what's going on or what they should expect, what is expected of them when they go to court.
It is extremely important, and it is still surprising that after legal aid's presence here in Tobago, over 12 years, that there are still persons in Tobago who are not aware of the office and what we do. Again, I want to encourage us, members of the public, this service is here for you. You don't have to go at it alone. Of course, there are some matters that you can do alone. And in that regard, you can come and ask about, okay, what to expect next and that kind of thing. So there are some matters you can do on your own. But then there are some that you really want to get a representation. I tell people, if you're sick, where do you go? You go to the doctor. So if you have a legal matter, then you come to a lawyer. And so we can guide you, and you can also get representation so you can get the best justice possible in your matter.
And let's emphasize again exactly where you guys are located.
Most definitely. So we are located in Bacalet. Now, if you know where the court road is, to go up to the court, we are right opposite there. And right in that building also, you have registration of births and deaths. You also have, I believe, Police Complaints Authority, Ombudsman. We are downstairs. So just come on by. We open from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. So our service is available to you every day of the week, Monday through Friday.
Now, what are some of the most popular questions you get from people that are seeking legal advice?
Most popular questions. I think it would be as it relates to maintenance and as it relates to how to get divorced, sadly. And in terms of getting divorced, you know, as I said, there are some divorce matters that you can't do on your own. But then there are some we encourage you to get an attorney for. So when you come, depending on your circumstances, after we would have interviewed you, ask you about how long you've been married, your children, your assets, and all these things, then we will decide or guide you. Okay, this is something you might be able to do on your own, or this is something you really need to get representation for. So I think surrounding family issues, surrounding land issues are the most questions we get at our office here in Tobago. And then it would be in the criminal arena, persons wanting to get representation for maybe assaults and other criminal matters.
Now you mentioned that, you know, land is also another one of those things that people come to you quite often for. You know, what are some of the things people need to know ahead of time when they have these matters, when they are faced with these matters? Like, what are some of the documents and that information that you would need to help you be able to make a better assessment of what needs to happen for that court proceeding?
Most definitely. So if it is that you are coming where it relates to land, you need to work with some form of ownership title. So that would be a deed, a certificate of title, some letter of permission, something that shows, okay, I am the one who is entitled to be on this land. So there are some people who will come, well, and really and truly their mother or their father is really the one who is supposed to be there, because they are probably the child. Yes, they are an adult, but that's not their house, that's not their land. So you have to think about who owns this, who has the right to take this matter to court. So work with your deed, work with your certificate of title, work with your letter of permission that, you know, probably a land and building tax receipts, something that gives us some information. And if you would have over the years been doing things on the land, start to record things. And when you come, you'll be able to give us an idea and not be like, I can't remember when that was, you know. It slows down the process. So work with as much information as possible that you can give to your legal officer who will be able to advise you better.
What are some of the misconceptions that people have about court proceedings?
I wouldn't be able to really say what misconceptions people have. But in terms of divorce, I would say that some of the misconceptions people have that I could do any matter on my own. And then they get to court and they realize, nah, I really can't do this on my own, you know. I need an attorney. Again, and that's why I give people the analogy. You do not treat a medical issue by going and just taking bush medicine. No, there are certain things that you really need to go to your doctor for. Likewise in court, yes, there might be small matters you might be able to do on your own, but the misconception that you can go and do any matter in court on your own, that is a grave misconception. After all, attorneys go to school to study for years to become an attorney, and therefore they are more equipped to go before the court and represent you.
Okay, so today you guys are doing an outreach here at the Port Mall. Is that free of charge?
Yes, in certain instances, depending on what the person wants. If it's a minor matter, yes, it will be free. But depending on what they want, and if we have to do further work for them, like letters of assistance or stuff like that, they may need to be referred to our office at Bacalet, where they can be further processed. So you can come on and hear a lot more about our service right here. We'll be here from 10 a.m. to 1:30. So that's 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on the ground floor, where you'll be able to meet with legal officers, you'll be able to meet with other members of the staff, and you'll be able to ask more of your questions and perhaps share with us your misconceptions. And the next time, I'll be able to share some more with the viewers.
Oh yeah, and we can have a very interesting conversation then.
Yes.
And what if someone that's not able to make it out today, how can they get in contact with the office, or do they have to just go in person?
No, you can go online actually at laaa.gov.tt. That's laaa.gov.tt. Or you can call us at 638-5222. That's our main number for all our branches. Here in Tobago, our number is 660-7502. 660-7502. When you go online, if you are computer savvy, there is a chat option. So you can chat online. And so you can simply tell us, my name is so-and-so, I am from this area and my matter is about, and leave your contact. And we do reach out to persons via our web contact, and they are advised.
All right, I want to thank you so much, Mr. Tasha Allen, for being on with us and giving us your perspective. I mean, sharing us with the details about that outreach that's happening today. So viewers, if you have a matter in court, even though if it might seem like a very small matter, my best advice to you is to seek advice. And the best advice you can get is from the Legal Aid of Trinidad and Tobago. Yes. And this is one of the people you'll be speaking with. She's very articulate and, you know, very easy to speak to.
Yes.
So if you have any questions, come on down to the Port Mall today between 10 a.m. and 1:30 p.m.
And just to add one more thing before we close, the Legal Aid Advisory Authority is geared for people of low to moderate means. So you don't have to suffer through your matter alone. Come on and see if you are one who is eligible to access aid for representation. Because you might be like, I can't afford an attorney. And that's one of the misconceptions that people have as well, that they can't afford an attorney. And then I ask, how do you know you can't afford an attorney? Have you gone to an attorney? No, but I just know they're expensive. And as I say, when you want to buy a fridge, what do? You go to court, you go to American stores, you go to several places, standards, and you check around and you decide, okay, this one is the cheaper one, I'll buy this one, or this one, even though it's more expensive, it has better qualities in the product, I'll buy this one. Similarly, if you need an attorney, you go around, check about 3 of them, and then decide whether you can afford an attorney or not. You won't know if you can unless you check. And if you think that you can't afford, then come to Legal Aid, be assessed, and we can then tell you, okay, yes, you can get aid, or no, you will need to seek an alternative. All right, so come on by. We are here today at the Port Mall, 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Otherwise, check us at our office in Bacalet Street, Scarborough, Tobago.
All right, and there you have it. So viewers, thank you for being with us. You know, be sure to check out the advice if you need it. But in the meantime, we are wrapping up for this week. We're closer to Christmas. Christmas is one of the best times of the year, in my opinion, my very humble opinion. So, you know, go out and enjoy. There's so much to enjoy right now. I mean, and even though times might be a bit tough, you can still find ways to be creative and still have a good time. And of course, reach out to each other. We've all been through a tough time through the pandemic. Now it's the time to think about how we can reach out to someone who may not be in a good position and help them have a good Christmas as well. All right, viewers, so have a wonderful, safe, and productive weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong.